This was a valued rug. This was a
Yeah, man, it really tied the room together.
this was a valued
What tied the room together, dude?
Were you listening to the story, Donnie?
What?
Were you listening to the dude's story?
I was bowling.
So you have no frame of reference, Donnie. You're like a child who wanders into the middle of a movie and wants to know.
What's your point, Walter?
There's no fucking reason. Here's my point, dude. There's no fucking reason.
Yeah, Walter, what's your point?
Huh?
What's the point of? We all know who's at fault. What the ever are you talking about?
Huh? No. What the fuck are you talking? I'm not. We're talking about unchecked aggression here.
What the fuck is he talking about?
My rug.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
To episode 30 of the Burning Ewok podcast. I'm your host, Justin Granzin. With me, as usual,
Chuck Fisher. Hello, everybody.
And the real Nafers, okay?
the real.
Real.
Is that on your Blue Sky handle? The real.
No, but I had to do it for Marvel's Rivals, dude.
There's another Nafers out there.
Dude, like all these Filipino people love the name Nafers. Like there must be some like Filipino pop star, but like if you look like
Well,
10 years ago, if you looked up Nafers, there was nobody but me. Now it's all over the frickin' place.
Maybe
dude.
you're like popular in the Philippines, or maybe in Tagalog, like the word Nafers means something. Maybe it means like
The cult of Nafers.
maybe it means like chode or something. You've been calling yourself that all this time.
Oh man.
Sheesh.
So Rivals. So Marvel's Rivals happened. I think it happened like the day before we recorded our last podcast. So we didn't talk about it then. We mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it. I put a couple hours into it. So what are you thinking, Dan? You played some just now, like fresh right off of it, right?
One match, and my first impression is it's slow. So like the big comparison to Overwatch, or the big comparison of it is to Overwatch.
Mhm.
And to me, it kind of feels like the difference between Quake and Unreal. From back in the day, Quake was just like boom, 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 fast, 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 fast.
Yep.
And Unreal Engine was like a little slower, a little more deliberate in everything you do. And just first impressions is it's slower and more deliberate. Now, some of the heroes are fast, but like the movements and the controls are slower. And I haven't optimized anything or done anything. I played Cap for like 2 minutes. I played Rocket. I played I played the Punisher, which was by far my favorite. Punisher was fun.
That's who I started with. I started with Punisher when my first game. Yeah, but I've been kind of maining Rocket.
Okay, I gotta figure out how like I don't know what like the armor thing. I'm not really quite sure what it does, and whatever the hell his special attack was. Yeah, I couldn't really figure out.
So from his left trigger's a heal, so he's constantly healing guys. So you're just like firing that heal into the battle, and it'll only hit your guys to heal them. Then he's got his main weapon, and then he can drop down the little pod thing that'll drop armor packs, or it'll also so it'll just like give armor to guys.
What was like the ultimate?
So his ultimate drops another one of those pod things, and anything in the vicinity gets a boost to their firepower. So you'll see like little rays will come onto it and connect to everybody that's in your party. And so if they're in that group, so you want to drop that in, into the mob and give everybody a power up.
Okay, I mean, right off the bat, like the Punisher has so many like cool skills. Like the
Oh yeah,
turret is really fun,
the
and
turret's
then
awesome, and just like getting places quickly,
yeah,
using the cable.
the
Yeah,
grapple
the
hook or
grapple hook is
whatever.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I really like that one. Cap, I don't really know how to play him, so
I played a little. I didn't really get it either.
didn't like the play style. I'm guessing he's supposed to kind of be a tank,
Yes.
with the shield and everything.
Yeah.
Don't know. Thor looked really, really cool. The guy playing Thor was like wrecking the map. So I did okay. I have like 25 kills and only like 7 deaths or
Holy
6
cow,
deaths.
man! I haven't gotten close to 25 kills in any of my
Uh,
matches.
yeah, dude,
Like maybe 12. Ooh, not even
I went
close.
on a 10 kill streak with Rocket at one point, so that
Wow.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool, man.
my longest streak. You played one game. My longest streak after like a couple hours is 9. Yeah.
Nice.
So there you go.
No.
Um, yeah. So I've been playing that. I mean, my opinion is I know I agree with you. Like with the slow and deliberate, it's not slow. Like slow, like almost sounds like it means it's bad. Like it's so slow. It's just like the difference between like playing Halo. Halo is slow moving,
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
Counter Strike, or something like that, where, it's meant to bam, 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 and you're coming back in. Yeah, so I agree it's closer to the Halo side on that. The control wise, though, like it doesn't feel like Halo. It's like a little mushier, and I don't
Right.
know if maybe it's an optimization thing for me or something where um, it doesn't feel amazing to play, but I enjoy playing it.
Okay.
I've enjoyed all the time playing it. I look forward to playing more. Um, I I want to try more of the heroes. I think I'm going to go more on the support side playing because that's just a way to I'm good on the support side. So I like the healers and all that. Although I don't know, like you said, like Thor looks awesome. When you play Bruce Banner, I think if he takes a few hits, that's when he hulks out. That's kind of
Mhm.
cool. I have been wrecked by two characters in that game though. I get wrecked by Wolverine and
Mhm.
Iron Fist. Iron Fist just wrecks everybody apparently.
Okay.
So, and they just like run in there so quick and they just beat your ass and run away. It's so fast and you're like, they don't even know what to do. Yeah, but for a free to play game, it's pretty cool because all the pay to things are cosmetic. All
Mhm.
characters are unlocked. The one thing I haven't figured out is the team up stuff, or I haven't because I've only played quick play matches, and I'm not playing with like you, where you could pick like Groot and I could pick Rocket, and
Yeah.
Rocket will hop on Groot's shoulder and they just mow people down. And I've seen a couple people do it with Jeff the Land Shark and Groot,
Mhm.
because Jeff will jump up on Groot's shoulders, and yeah, and apparently that's also like a really overpowered character is the Jeff.
Yeah, that's what Braden was telling me. Braden was
Yeah.
telling me that he heard that the land shark was like awesome.
Yeah, he like swims around. You'll see a little fin going on the ground, and he'll just swallow you up and take you under the map, and then he
Yeah.
can like spit you off the edge of the
Yeah.
map and kill you.
So is
Yeah.
Haley Cool like one of the characters in the game?
Who?
Like like Braden was telling me Jeff is like Haley Pool's pet.
I, it's kind of a joke character in Marvel. I mean, they've got a Marvel Snap card for Jeff, and it's just like kind of like a silly throwaway, non-serious sort of
Yeah.
like what if character. Not even what if. I think he's just like, when Marvel does their goofy issues, they're like, hey, Jeff the Land Shark, and it's a shark
Yeah.
with legs, and he smiles. So I mean,
Yeah. He was
yeah,
running all over the place on my team in the match, and he sucked. So, like the whoever was playing him was not good.
not good
He
at
just
him.
kept running
Yeah,
straight ahead and dying. So I'm guessing it was like some little kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, um,
That's
yeah,
cool that it's free to play, though. I didn't realize it was free to play.
yeah. I'm playing. Are you playing on Steam?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I got it too. So yeah, just
Hmm.
download it, Chuck, and maybe
Yeah,
we
I
can
should. I just haven't had a chance this week to do
get a
it.
group together. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I talked to my son about it, and he's like, "Graphics suck." I'm like, no, they
Oh,
don't. They're pretty
really?
good. I don't. I think it's fine. He's like, it's not as good as Overwatch. It's like, why not just play Overwatch? I'm like, I don't know. I like the Marvel aesthetic. He's like, no, it's not as good. He was playing it last night around like he said like 9, 10 p.m. or something. So he's playing like in prime time, and I don't know if his Wi-Fi connection was really good on the computer he was playing on. He said it was really janky for him, but I mean,
Hmm.
I've run into some glitches on it too. in the time I've played
I
it.
will
So
say, like, the maps seem very uninteresting to me. Like, I don't see the aesthetic on the maps. Like, nothing to me screams Marvel about it. You know, like,
what map did you play? Okay,
no
because the
idea.
Valhalla one is pretty.
Nice.
Oh, that one's boring. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
boring map. Yeah, but there's a cool one that's like on Clintar, which is like the symbiote planet, which is all gooey and cool looking, and you have to actually move a symbiote along because they've got those types. It's Overwatch games all over again. My favorite maps are by far all the ones in Valhalla.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
there's some
mean,
really
like,
cool like in the Thor maps. I really like those maps. The Hydra one's not so interesting. It's
yeah.
a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, and they feel very Overwatchy. Also, I mean, it is an Overwatch ripoff by a million percent. Yeah,
Sure, which, imitation's the greatest form of
Sure.
flattery. So I think
Absolutely. Yeah.
video games have a long history
Yep.
of, I don't think ripping off is the right term. I mean, I think it's embracing the genre.
yeah. It's a
Mhm.
genre. It's a genre
Yeah.
game for sure. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
Dota
like,
to League of Legends to whatever. Yeah.
map wise, for a guy like me who, doesn't read a lot of comics, but, I've watched enough of the movies and the shows and everything that, like, map wise, like, I want to see, like, Avengers Tower. I want to see, like, the shield carrier. I want to see, like,
Hell yeah, dude.
in Valhalla. I want to see, like, the Bifrost Bridge and the palace and stuff. That'd be cool. So I mean, that's really probably or maybe like a Spider-Man map or something. Like Queens, would be cool. So
I definitely haven't played all the maps yet. So, and there's a
I'll be
few. I
playing it
haven't.
next week.
Yeah.
I'm off.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well, we'll definitely get on some then for sure.
Oh, that's cool. You're
I,
off all week.
Yeah, tomorrow's my last day.
Good for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah. So that's basically like my thing. Other than like my hatred for delivery companies that force you to have signatures and not ring the doorbell so you don't hear them when you're in the basement working.
Oh,
And then
that's
so
the
you go
worst.
upstairs and see the thing on the window that says, "We
Oh, you
missed
weren't
you." Yeah.
Oh,
And like,
not from like, Amazon, is it?
no, UPS.
Oh.
So when I told you guys we got this. I think we discussed this last week. The cell phone cut over. So
Yeah.
I'm now
Yeah.
on a different cell phone carrier, and with that, I got a new Galaxy Watch. So
Sweet.
it was supposed to come today. It did, and then it didn't. And so hopefully tomorrow it'll be here, and or hopefully I'm gonna put a sign on the door if nobody's home because my wife was out, and yeah, and I can hear the doorbell ring, so I know they didn't ring it. They just knocked on it.
Right. It's better than getting it stolen, I guess.
I'm irritated.
So
I live in a nice neighborhood, so things don't get stolen.
So do you have like a smart garage door opener?
I do.
Have you done the whole Amazon MyQ thing yet? So I've been doing it. And I think out of like 6 or 7 deliveries now, they did leave it open, my garage door open once in the middle of the frickin' night, which pissed me.
Not worth it just for that right there.
Not worth it. No.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool because they just otherwise they just open it up, drop it inside, and close it.
Like I got so much crap in my garage, I kind of want to leave it open and let people take what they want, but that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is I'm going to get like a raccoon infestation, and that's what that'd be like way worse. Or like skunks
move in.
Yep, skunks, and I'm like done. Just burn the house down,
Yep. That's exactly what would happen.
Yep. I'd be like, and all the stuff's still there. Just now it smells like skunk piss.
Nice.
They make great pets from what I've heard. So
yeah, you just gotta de-stink them, and they're fun. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, but apparently they're great pets. Oh, yeah. I know.
I know people like raccoons. Like when they're babies, they're awesome. But I think as they get older, they go nuts.
Yeah, and they'll scratch your face off. Yeah.
Well, they'll just tear your house apart.
Yeah,
because that's what they do. They're like, I'm a trash panda, and this is what's happening. I'm gonna do my trash panda thing.
Yeah. I'm so glad we don't have monkeys in the
Can you
US.
imagine? Oh
gosh.
Yeah, just like walking around and like having poop thrown on you all the time.
Go through your box. They'll like open boxes and go through your stuff and.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no way. And I like
Yeah.
monkeys. I mean, they're awesome. Monkeys are amazing. I
don't
don't
know.
want one
I
running
don't
around
know.
my house. I just couldn't imagine something that smart. Like having a
No.
cat, good enough. Like I don't want any smarter than that.
The thing where cats excel over monkeys is that the cats don't typically throw their feces at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a dumb one, sometimes they miss the litter box. I've
Well,
had that.
I mean that happens. Come on.
Yeah.
Cats
But that happens with me
are
too. I miss the litter box every once in a while.
I hate cats. Well, I mean, I like kittens. I mean, I don't really like cats, but I had cats and they pissed all over my house. And
It's a behavior thing, man. Or it's
Yeah,
actually
I
something
mean-
that when it's medication takes care of like 90% of them.
no,
Yeah.
we went through it for 2 years. They absolutely destroyed my old house. They destroyed all the carpet in my new house when we moved here. Yeah, I was glad not to have them when they were gone.
I'll be honest, when we didn't have cats for a little while, it was I didn't have any animals. It was very serene and wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But I also do enjoy having a cat. So
Speaking of cats, let's talk about the owl cat, man.
yeah, okay. So we're jumping in. All right.
Let's do it. I'm segueing us.
Episode 3 of Skeleton Crew. Did anybody catch the name of it? Probably not, because we didn't do our homework.
Isn't it I'll Meet You on the Dark Side of the Moon?
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. On
Yeah,
top
I was
of things.
just about to say the same thing.
Chuck with the lie. Anyway,
Nice.
I loved this episode.
It
Like
was
this
great.
episode, like hooked me instantly. You know, because it was like the make or break episode. I thought, like, all right, so we got this premise. Things are looking good. This is where I knew from the previews. This is where we're gonna be once we get off this planet. How's everything gonna go? And I don't know. I can tell you what I liked. I really like the soundtrack on this show. It's not overbearing, but it has been very piratey with the pirates. You know,
I
you've
mean,
kind of
it is
had
very
that.
piratey.
You've
yeah.
had that yo ho ho feel within the music if you listen to it. But the music that killed it was when they were coming onto the moon base. And they threw
Yes.
out a sound on Star Wars music I had yet to hear. And it was similar to like watching Andor, where they showed B2 Emo for the first time, and it kind of had that chunky electronica sound as he's meandering through the streets. And it was like a different type of music sound we've heard in Star Wars. This was that 60s sci-fi vibe coming into the moon. And it was awesome. Like I'm like, there it is, right there, mixing it up.
It had a very old school like moon base feel to the whole whole sequence. Yeah, it was really cool.
All right. So just kind of going through the episode. Start from the beginning. We're stuck with Jude Law, showing the kids that he's got force powers, and we discussed, okay, do we think he's force sensitive? It's possible. Some of the things I've said, it's a force sensitive character. He did more things that seemed to be more force oriented throughout the episode, but I love the fact that the kids are sitting there discussing how he could pull these tricks. That scene is what solidified the show for me, because these kids are doing what kids would do. Like, and they're like all rationalizing it. You've got the one kid who's like, no, he's a Jedi. He's awesome because he worships him and he wants him to be a Jedi. You know, obviously he's going to get disappointed with him, but he still might be force sensitive. But I love the fact that Fern is like, well, he could use a string. He could do this, you know, and like all these different ways of like moving that key. Awesome. That was great. Great character moment.
Yeah, no, it was like Goonies when they're all just kind of sitting around shooting the shit in Mikey's living room before they, chop the wiener off the stage.
But I mean, that's like the best stuff in Goonies, you know, those interactions and like them, you know, giving Data a hard time about his gadgets, or you know, those moments are like what we're seeing in this. So it's not to make it like always about Goonies. I mean, I guess it's probably our easiest comparison though.
Yeah.
You know, besides
or E.T. Right.
Yeah, Explorers ET.
Yeah,
I mean, it is like 80s kid zone, you know, 80s family movie sci-fi kid zone, you know. But yeah, I loved that part. I I don't know, like coming from the planet, like, and I like that they don't waste time on certain things. They're just like, okay, like the scene where I thought another great scene was when Jude Law was going to get SME or SM-33. He was hung up on there, and he was checking out all the droids.
Yeah.
And he turned the one, nope, not you. And the second one's like, must save the prince. I must save the prince, or whatever, the princess. It just kind of kept meandering away. And then the battle droid that fell apart. Like, what did the battle droid? Now I watched it once.
Did we win?
Did we? Okay, he did say that.
Did
He
we
said,
win?
"Did we win?" Awesome, so awesome. It's like somebody in World War II stuck on a Pacific island, you know? Not having an idea of how the war ended, and then finally finding Smee, turning him on, and then having the other pirate come in and be like, that whole conversation was incredible.
Yeah.
But then when he's like okay, they don't like waste a lot of exposition on that whole thing, because the next scene he's already got him in the ship and he's like flying and getting chased, and I just like that. Like, let's get going, come on, I know what's going to happen next. We don't need to see it, let's see the next thing. So the pacing's amazing in this show. Great.
Yeah, no, I mean that scene there is almost literally Indiana Jones when he's running
in the beginning
the thing on the river, right? Start the engine,
Oh man. Can I segue now, or are we gonna and then swing back?
No,
because I really want to talk about that. I did have one other thing to talk about at the end of this episode, everybody. I'm gonna talk about the new Indiana Jones video game, because I did spend some time on it.
I mean, I think it's a pretty clever episode all around. I don't think the cheese isn't overbearing. It's not. The pacing is quick, but not so quick that it feels like there's holes. It's not trying to be super smart. It's trying to embrace like the innocence of the kids, and I mean,
because it's their point of view. It feels like it's their point of view on these things. Because it stops and has them rationalize how we could use the Force. It stops at the end of the episode when they're on the moon base, where they're like, no, we aren't, like, we're the leaders and you're following us. Like, you work for us now, and like puts them in a position of power. So it's like doing this great job of empowering the kids, letting them be kids, and also like still have like a sense of adventure. Like, it's doing all the parts right,
Yeah, well, in like, I mean, they didn't even have to say you work for us at the end, because they made him go back for the robot.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
We're not leaving until it's like, oh my god, like every parent's worst nightmare.
So are we thinking, what's his name? Job? Is that what it is?
Crimson Jack?
Or Crimson Jack, or is it Crimson Jack? Are we thinking it's possible that he was a Padawan at the fall of the Empire? Or the fall of the Republic, and kind of was just like a stray that never really got to use the Force much more, but had to survive on his own and use his ability when needed?
He would have been young then.
He's all right. He would have been a youngling. So he never was fully trained or anything. That was kind of like the thought I was having after this episode.
That's a really good. That's an interesting take on it, because that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, well, this guy clearly isn't trained, because some of the things, like he didn't catch the droid coming through the hallway. Like, there are little things that he was like, well, he's not completely aware of everything that's going on.
So I think the pirate name Crimson Jack, right? And when you talk about recent Star Wars, IPs, and you hear Crimson, to me it makes me think Crimson Dawn, right? Maybe he's some relationship to
Kira and Dryden Voss and that group from before.
We know who the head of Crimson Dawn was in Solo, right?
It's Kira. No, it's Kira. Yeah, she would still, as far as I know, Kira is still alive. Oh well, no, he's dead at this point.
Darth Maul?
Darth Maul's dead.
But still, just association with Darth Maul and all that. I mean, I haven't watched. Was it Rebels where he dies, or I still haven't watched that, so I have no idea.
Oh,
but anyway,
suggesting Crimson Jack was
spoiler. Darth Maul dies. And it would happen. Again, it would probably happen like a year before A New Hope.
Did he get cut in half? Long ways this time.
I don't want to spoil it because it is one of the best moments in all of Rebels. Okay. I would say you could almost put it a top 10 moment in Star Wars. It's that good of an episode. Yeah, I love how they. But in order to appreciate that, I think you have to know the Darth Maul arc from Clone Wars, and then how he comes in and taunts Ezra and tries to bring Ezra. It's great.
Okay, so
and I want to talk about that. It's such a good episode.
So Jabba Wood is
that's his name.
Yeah. So we're gonna call him Crimson Jack because it's way easier to say.
Or how about CJ? Just call him CJ.
Just call him Jack.
Captain
Jack.
Captain Jack. Yeah. We'll call him Donnie Darko. No.
Yeah. Jude Law is like the
Donnie Brasco is what I meant to say. I screwed up the joke. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So Jude Law is like the perfect actor to play this role right now. I'm trying to think who else would do it without being too over the top. But Jude Law is kind of perfect because he can kind of play that.
He's a chameleon.
Yeah, he is.
He's an absolute of all the actors. When you see like just the history of what Jude Law's done, I love Jude Law. Like having him in Star Wars universe is great. Because think about like some of his past characters. Like he looks like Jude Law in this, but then go back and look in like all the other movies he looks like Jude Law, and then watch Road to Perdition, where that's not even the same person. Like there's no freaking way that's Jude Law, but it's Jude Law, and it's like such that So he's that guy that can play both sides very easily. I don't know. After like there's a few that can do it, but he's like in that class for sure. That special class.
That match would be really good in this role.
Sure.
And Hugh Laurie would be really good in this role too, I think.
Yeah. You could throw like a Billy Bob Thornton in there, or a who's the guy who played Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men? The main bad guy. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh my God.
Old man googling up names.
This is your area of expertise.
I know, but I drank too much green tea today.
A couple things that I was really happy they didn't do was the X-Wing pilots were not the same guys from The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So I was really happy that they didn't try and pull those guys.
I was super happy about it, but I was also slightly sad. Because I love him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Carson
whatever.
It's a big universe, so you would think that it wouldn't be the same people.
Except they keep pulling them in and all those other shows.
Well, the other stuff, it does make sense. It does make sense on the other things because there's the Rebels connection with Zeb or Ellis on Mandalore with the Ahsoka. It works. It works there. This would have been, I think, a bridge too far. I agree.
I thought it was too.
When we were watching it, we were saying also, if Carson was in there, it would have been Carson Teva. Is that his name?
Yeah.
If he was in it, it would have been too much. I agree.
Yeah.
I like that they were just firing at the X-wings though. The kids, shooting them when they hit them the once, and just like, dude, you guys are shooting down like.
I thought it was genius to put the kid as the pilot because he wouldn't keep the ship straight. It would be wandering, so like they couldn't get a lock on him.
Yeah.
They said it's just like, Neil, take the controls, and they're like, Neil, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the kid's reaction to that was great too. Yeah.
No, let's talk a little bit about Adam, right? And I think
more theories.
The more I think I was right that it's like some kind of AI overlord, a la Fallout style, some kind of a High Republic or old Republic experiment kind of gone wrong or gone forgotten. So I can't wait for the big reveal there. And there's some kind of rebellion coming from that planet, from the parents there, right? Because they're going to realize
at least the dad, he took his glasses off and was like, all right, now I gotta get serious.
So the interesting thing to me though was they knew it seems like they know that other things are going on outside the barrier, and that they know a little bit of what's going on, because did he say New Republic, or did he just say the
they
Republic?
just call it the Republic, and and there was a big hint in there also when they were I forgot who they were talking to, but they were asking about the different names of planets, and they mentioned Alderaan, and they're like, yeah, you don't know, you've been away, so and I think that was with Kim the Owl Cat, and she's which. Anyway, let's stay on the planet at Adden.
So the thing about this planet is that if it's from the old Republic, that would be that it's been in secret, or they've been sequestered with no outside contact for like over 1,000 years.
Yeah, I
not
think that's
necessarily 1,000.
Well, wasn't the old Republic 1,000 years?
Well, I think it was High Republic. I think
back.
it's High Republic credit, so it could be like 300 years.
I think it's further back.
It could be. I mean, I don't know if we have enough evidence to say definitely how far back it goes. But I mean, yeah, if you wanted to say High Republic, it could be 1,300 years.
So the scroll map that the Owlcat brings out has like 6 planets on it that are like the Great Works or something, and it's the last one.
It's like 8 or 9, I think.
Okay, so
there's 9 and they destroyed 8 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
they used the term destroyed, right?
Yeah, I think they said it. Yeah, they actually said destroyed. I didn't get a second watch on this episode yet, unfortunately.
So the question, I think, is, the way she sounded, she said it almost sounded like the creators of those great works destroyed it, and not like the Empire destroyed it, right?
No.
So what were
whoever the bad guys
were?
Whoever the bad guys were destroyed it.
So I mean, that could mean that robot group that or whatever is put that barrier that hides that planet, was for good reasons, because obviously everybody's living pretty prosperous. It's not like they're in a bad way. I mean, they may be a little too locked down. But I mean, no, there's not. We don't know the full breadth of what that
kind of
government
sounds
is like.
They're enslaved, because they're like, well, you gotta work, you gotta do the good work, and like that's all you got to do. Is this great work? And it sounds like they're all analysts. Like, what do they analyze?
I don't think anybody knows what the great work is.
But my point is, they're not. I mean, they're like freaking Americans, right? I mean, really, it's like we're all analysts. I'm an analyst. I'm a manager of analysts and administrators, and it's just like, what do we do? But at the same time, they're not living bad. There's not like they're not wanting like on Tatooine. They're not starving to death. They're not living in the slums in Coruscant.
They're not beset by the Sand Raiders. Right?
Yeah. So it's like it's like a different type of. I don't know if it's a dystopia. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a. I would say if it is, it's closer to the. It's not on the 1984 version of the dystopia. It's more of like the Brave New World version of it, where everybody's just kind of doing their thing, but they're locked into place, and you just got to do things. It's like Brazil, a lot of bureaucracy. Bureaucracy just like locks them into place, and that's all they can do.
Could this be the story of why there is no AI in the Star Wars world?
Could be. But I don't necessarily think that that's true, because
there is AI. What like
C-3PO is AI. Chips,
but they are programmed to specific tasks, and not really, self-aware artificial intelligence the way like we are starting to picture what AI would really be like. These,
there have been a lot of arguments about that in the Star Wars like lore. Some of the books have dealt with that, like the past books have said, no, they aren't. They're just programs, and that's all there is to it. You look at something like R2-D2 or Chopper or C-3PO, and you're like, but it does seem like there's more there. But is there really? I mean, they do wipe their brains or their memory banks after the 3rd episode of the movies. So that's why they don't remember. But that's more, I think, of a plot device than anything, because you had to. But I don't know. I don't know. If AI, I don't know if there is no AI in Star Wars. I think that's what I would say. I would say also that, not like Dune. Like Dune is like a place where computers and any thinking machine is completely outlawed in that universe. But it's like part of the deal of that universe.
Yeah,
There's been no explicit. Because there's like droid, but there's also like droid hate and like droid hate crimes and those types of things, which gives them more sentience by having that. You have Warher's bar in the cantina in episode 4 where, hey, no droids here. They have a droid detector. He doesn't want any droids in there because he's like racist against droids.
But to me, it's less sentience than personality. It's like, because ultimately C-3PO's function is to serve Princess Leia and Luke. Right?
And he has a personality, but he's always going to follow his programming.
Yeah, and same with R2, right? They don't they might exceed the limits of their programming, but they don't exceed the bounds of it and become self-aware and be like, well, screw this, I'm not doing this job anymore. I'm going to go get my own ship and a...
R2-D2 kind of does that in episode 4, though.
Yeah, he does do that.
I mean, he is given new orders. As an owner, you're supposed to, robots are supposed to follow what their owner says. R2 is given to a new owner. C-3PO given to that same owner, follows the new owner. R2's like, nah, that's not cool. I'm doing my own thing.
Well, he had a mission.
He had a mission. Ultimately, he was still following the programming and the orders that he's been given.
I get it. I just say there's some gray area. I'm just saying there's gray area.
He's not like, you know what? I'm not a freaking astromech anymore. I am now. I'm going to go be a Padawan learner. He's like, he's not like, hey, I'm going to be a Jedi someday because I can, because screw you humans or aliens or whatever that are oppressing me, right? And I think when you talk about anyways, I think
it's a great discussion, though. I like it. it.
Yeah, I kind of, like, in the back of my mind is like, the more and more I think about, like, there's like some AI computer running this colony or whatever we want to call it. And it seems more and more like the AI in Fallout, right?
I think you're right.
I like this premise. I like the idea that it's like a vault and there's some kooky stuff going on. We're going to get that unlocked as we have these pirates on their way back to this planet, and possibly then following them, the Republic, and just screw everything up for everybody that lives on that planet or help them. It's going to be cool. Like I said, this episode just killed it. Loved it. We haven't even got the stuff I really loved yet.
What if that planet was actually maybe like a Sith planet, and the people were actually doing the great work that aided the Sith somehow? I don't know.
Could be, right? Because
they're
not allowed in the forest, right? They have to stay within the bounds of their stuff, right?
Yeah, but there's also the fact that they have Republic currency and they talk about the Republic, so it's not like, I don't know.
I haven't gone looking for things online because I want to avoid spoilers, because there's always spoilers.
Yeah. I'm going to totally let it play out in the show, and it's going to be one of those things that they'll have some unanswered questions that are going to live on and probably get answered in other things. I mean, it seems like the perfect recipe for it.
I also think that this show is actually going to tie Captain EO into the Star Wars
That's
canon.
the one thing we didn't talk about last week. That's the one we missed. The little bird guys are the bird creatures that are in Captain EO that get knocked out of the cage. I went upstairs and I watched them with my wife because I wanted her to watch the show, and I'm like, we forgot to talk about the Captain EO guys.
Yeah, Captain EO tie-in.
Yeah.
Oh, so we did talk about the guy that drove the little
the teak, the teak from the Ewok adventure.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Yeah,
we talked about most of the rest of them that we caught.
I vaguely remember those.
Is Captain EO canon?
No. Well, I don't know, man. You tell me.
No. Captain EO isn't canon, but those little creatures are. Captain EO isn't in the Star Wars universe.
How is Captain EO? He could be like a different galaxy. He could just be a Jedi. Like in that galaxy, they sing. Like I don't know.
They just sing and shoot hee lightning, and then that's
That they bring joy to the bad planets. I guess.
Sure. Let's do it. Let's just make Captain EO canon in the Star Wars universe. We're gonna spread it around, and it's now a thing.
Dude,
So-
I had no idea Francis Ford Coppola directed Captain
Yeah.
EO.
Yes, he did.
That's crazy.
And the Borg Queen is a direct, like, inspired by the Queen in that movie.
And Lucasfilm did all the special effects. I mean, it was ILM that did it all.
Yeah,
it's like a
George
huge. It was Lucas
yeah.
was like headed that whole side of it. So, I mean, that's why it has the Star Wars feel.
$25 million they spent on that.
It's like
how
what,
many
8 minutes,
times I've
15
seen
minutes long?
Captain EO? I've gone to Captain EO at Disneyland probably 30 times.
I think I've seen it twice. I know once for sure. I think I saw it twice.
I've seen it way more than twice, but I don't think
I used to go to Disneyland probably 10, 15 times a year. And we'd always go to Captain EO at least once because you're there in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do because everything has a 2-hour line, and Captain EO never had a line, and it had air conditioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we would go in there and just chill and watch it. And if it wasn't crowded, you just sit there and stay there for another show, and drink eat your eats and drink your drinks. And
that's when like 3D technology was like, whoa, so cool.
Yeah. And there was a way. There used to be, because I mean it's gone now, but there used to be a way to cut in line to Space Mountain from Captain EO.
Really?
Yep, because they used to separate the line at Space Mountain and have like a gap where they would hold people outside, and then you would walk through up top there, and you could sneak over to in that area when nobody was going through. Before the days of cameras and everywhere. we may have done that once or twice when I was in high school. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Justin, what was the things that we haven't talked about that you loved?
Well, some of the stuff. Let's talk about Kim, the Owlcat creature. So the Owlcat creature that is very suspicious of her former associate Crimson Jack. How much merch are we going to see for Kim, you think?
Well, there's going to be some.
It's not going to be Grogu-esque, but I think it's up there. It's going to be pretty good. I mean, this is going to be a character that takes off. I think so.
Literally.
I think so the whole moon, they go on this moon planet. Absolutely love it.
Well,
I love like we talked about the music, we talked about that whole build up to her. Okay, so is that moon planet, was there like a barrier around that, or are they just like walking and breathing like it's all cool because we're Star Wars and we don't care? We don't care. We don't need plants to create oxygen on Tatooine, nor do we need it on a moon.
Science fantasy, not science fiction.
Totally.
Right?
I'm totally fine with it. Like, I just didn't know, did they like put a barrier there? Because if you look at like the pirate asteroid that they're on, there are literal force fields that allow everything within it. I mean, obviously in The Empire Strikes Back, they walk out of the ship with just a little thing on their face, and it's all good.
No vacuum, right?
So, like, they're like, whatever. So, I mean, physics obviously don't work the same in the Star Wars universe. I'm fine with that,
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. Was there a barrier on that? Like a bubble around it that they...
I didn't notice one, no.
I didn't notice it.
One, and you would think the ship would have run into problems trying to get through it, right?
No, you can fly through those barriers because they got them like there's like those blue little force fields. They fly through them all the time.
Fly through those
inside the
time,
docking bays of those ships, on like the big capital ships.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I really loved, that moonshot. They got the moonshot. They're all walking across across on the moon. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was like a planet that they were walking across on the moon. That gave them that cool looking ET-esque type of
very
shot.
ET-esque,
Very cool. Her whole thing, her like base that they're in. I did like the little arm guys coming out, the little greeter droids coming out, like the little balls, and having her voice to it. Usually, it's got the little hutties, that thing didn't have that, So I'm like, all right, yeah, that works. I guess it would be whatever way you want to communicate. It's your little droid ball. You can do what you want, but her entire like lab or whatever she had absolutely reminded me of the Dark Crystal. And the one that had all the planets spinning around in that area, like like the one that kind of looks like Tina Turner and Oprah Winfrey had a kid, that creature thing.
Okay, yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
I was not a fan of the Dark Crystal.
All right.
So.
Anyway, the really cool little lab, and it's got the planets moving around. It just kind of reminded me like the same feel in there.
You know what it reminded me of? I think he's called Mr. Universe from Firefly.
Man, I should go back and watch those because I can't remember.
He's the guy who he's by himself like on an asteroid or a planet or something.
Yeah, very similar. Like the same type of thing. Yeah. Just like stranded out there, just doing their own thing.
Stop the feed, Mal.
Yeah. Or like I don't know, like the laboratories in like the latest Zelda games where they're like way out on the top of a mountain, and it's just some crazy dude doing experiments in there.
It's just an observatory, basically, right?
Yeah. But what's fascinating about that is, to me, it feels like, somebody built this for exploration purposes, and then she just moved in when they were done with it or whatever. And then the other thing, she has all these data pads everywhere, and yet she has to go find a piece of paper, like parchment. See, that's why I think these planets are way older than we think, because like. This is before, like, the majority of everything is on data pads or in computers or droids.
I agree. I mean, I think the term older or High Republic has been thrown around a lot about the money, but that just might be when it lost contact, right, with the rest of the universe. It could have been there for thousands of years before that, right? It's the great work. Doesn't happen overnight.
Sure.
Yeah, and everybody knew the other planets were destroyed, and that planet had fallen into myth.
So when the parents do get mad and they're talking to the droids about we have to, like, they make it seem like they're under the impression that they're not as locked down, because the way they talk, they're like, no, this is something you should inform the Republic. And they're like, nope, we can't do it. Not going to happen. And they're like, what? Like they're like, it made me feel like they're under the impression that, if there's ever an issue, we can reach out to the Republic.
But
we just never. Yeah, it's like so that kind of. So it's like that kind of like falls into the whole thing, and we covered it. I'm good. It was a great episode. I can't wait for more of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I want to know what Kim's connection to the Republic is, right? Because she's got like freaking X-wings on speed dial.
Yeah.
So that's some clout. Was she wearing like an Empire uniform?
No. I don't think so.
It sure looked like it. And I guess it actually looks more like a Republic uniform, but they're both kind of similar. So there's one toy, by the way, for Kim. It's a pop. Yeah.
Well, it's a pop. It's always a pop. You gotta stay away from the pops. They ruin everything. They'll spoil everything.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. She definitely has a major role with the Republic. Okay, she's the one that figured out how to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Pop.
There you go. Go.
The joke I came up with earlier. But anyway, so she her toy should be one of those little things that you put the pop the sucker in it. It spins it while you eat it. I don't know. I wasn't that enamored by her at first. I was like, an owl? What is this, Harry Potter?
You're going to hate. I'm like, Chuck's going to hate this character. Chuck hates anything small, anything furry, anything with. He hates all little creatures that are smaller than humans. Hates them all.
Okay. So now we have the toy for the I don't know. I don't know. I don't hate her, but at first I was like, stupid. Like, couldn't it have just been like that character that he was like talking to in that room with the droids? Like, that character was cool. Like, why wasn't that the dude on the moon? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was the character's very similar to what's her name from Force Awakens, right? Where she goes and gets the lightsaber from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's cool though. She was cool though.
Maz Kanata, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very
What's the
similar.
need?
Kind of
What's the need to keep coming up with new and more crazy aliens? Like,
It's a big galaxy, dude.
I feel like there's a lot of aliens. Like,
It's a lot of aliens. It's a lot of different creatures.
yeah.
Yeah.
in like
Old
when
classics.
the depth of the universe, right? When they narrowed it down to 99.9%, they ruled out 99.9% of planets. They still had 10,000 planets left to look through, right?
That's why there's so many, dude.
Yeah.
Big universe.
Big
galaxy.
Away.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so
Can I talk some Indiana Jones?
yes, let's hear it.
All right.
Let's hear it.
So I downloaded, because on Game Pass this last week, Indiana Jones and what is it? The Great Circle or something like that. I don't really care what it's called. Doesn't matter. No, it's not.
Circle of Death.
Yeah. Anyway, start playing it, and it's a first-person Indiana Jones game, which is like the first that I've ever played like that. I've had third-person, obviously the side-scrolling stuff, and it absolutely feels like I'm playing Fate of Atlantis. Like a modern-day version of it, because it's like a lot of puzzles. The first thing you do, and I'm going to spoil a little bit of the game, but I don't care. The first thing you do is you reenact the entire opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark to a T. And I didn't realize it at first. I'm like, wait, why am I this? I'm like, that dude looks like the guy that, betrays you. Mm-hmm. And that looks like the guy that's going to try to shoot me, that I whip, the gun out of his hand, that Indiana Jones whips. All of it happens. Every little bit of it, So you play through, you're even, brushing the spiders off that dude's back, and going through, putting the sand, dropping the thing, and then running, and the boulder chasing you, all the way up through that point. And then it flips into the game, like, but it's a awesome tutorial. Like, this is how you crouch. This is, it does all that stuff while you're doing that. Once the game gets going, it's a mix of stealth, beat 'em up, the first person brawler, where you're like, just punch the hell, or anything. You can pick up most everything, a candlestick, a broom handle, a shovel, and use it to beat on Nazis. If you know me well, punching and smashing Nazis is one of my favorite things to do in video games. Like, absolutely, like, nothing beats killing a Nazi. And
Castle Wolfenstein, man.
Oh, exactly. It's wonderful. Or like the Call of Duty 2, right? Oh man, just if you get into that point where like they never stop coming because you didn't like reach that other point, you literally could stand there and shoot Nazis all day long, and they'll just keep piling up. I love it. Anyway, so any Nazis out there, I don't like you. Anyway.
Stop listening.
Got a lot of love for the Nazis.
Yeah, no Nazis. I mean,
like,
this is
globally, that's pretty much. I don't know. There could be. I'm Argentina, maybe. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. Anyway, so if you're listening in Argentina and you're a Nazi, I don't want you to listen. I can lose you. Anyway, back to the game. It's pretty sweet. So, and it's like a lot of like, okay, they break into the museum at the school where you're with Marcus, and like some of the museum stuff is there, and you got to figure out which ones go into certain places based on stuff. So it's like puzzling. You got like puzzles to figure out. Like, you're putting like amulets into like a thing to twist them a certain way to open up doors. It's so Indiana Jonesy. It's the combat feels pretty good, and there's a ton of stealth elements. Use your whip in cool ways. I love it. I think this would absolutely. It's one of the better games I've played, and I got to admit, I have not played a ton of these AAA games in a while. I've been trying to get back in and playing the new Call of Duty. Yeah. The new Call of Duty is like the old Call of Duty. It didn't really feel anything special there. This felt like they nailed the whole Indiana Jones aesthetic. Now, Dan, did you touch it at all?
I downloaded it and installed it.
All
That's
right,
it.
well, that's a start. That's a start.
I watched
for
play
sure,
but yeah.
I have a whole week with no kids at home. It's
All right.
amazing.
Wow, you're like by yourself. Wow.
My daughter's on her way right now to come home.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep, they all still have school next week, including Jana. So like until next Friday.
Okay, yeah. So you got the full party.
Yep. So it's gonna be a fun week for gaming for me.
Yeah.
She's real close.
Yeah. When you get free time, Dan, play it. Chuck, do you still have Game Pass?
Yes, of course.
Well, you got no reason not to play it then.
Well, yeah. Other than
All right.
I don't have a new Xbox. I still have the older.
It won't work on the old Xbox.
PC.
Can you play it on the PC?
Yeah,
you play it on the PC.
If you have a decent video card, you have to be able to do ray tracing. So that try it. Just download it. If you got a Game Pass, just download it. It'll tell you if you can play it or not.
Yeah, why not?
2050 or 2060 or later.
Yeah.
So I got two more things. So number one, did you guys watch Immediate Family yet? Come on,
oh, son of a bitch!
I don't watch anything this week except What We Do in the Shadows. I got up to the last episode, and then I didn't even watch. I watched half an episode of Fargo. My wife fell asleep, so I stopped watching it.
Okay.
And then obviously Skeleton Crew, but whatever.
So all right, so I got to say something. So I hate everybody who knows me knows I hate NCIS like with a passion.
Love NCIS.
I know. But my wife has been watching the origin story, which I thought was going to be the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Spoil it because I'm gonna get there.
I'm not going to spoil nothing. God.
What do like murders happen and then they solve them?
Yeah, they solve murders and stuff.
They find a finger.
But the actor that they got to play the younger, what's his name, Mark Harmon. Holy damn, does he nail it? He nailed it.
Okay, cool.
It's incredible.
Cool. So
and the show is better. The show is better than
very young Sheldon-esque, with the kid who plays young Sheldon.
No, I hate that show.
Are we talking like Mark Harmon from like Summer School fame?
Yeah, we're talking about Mark Harmon. Yeah, he's like mega rich now because he had like 14 NCIS shows that he probably all co-produced and.
Dude, it's
to do it. That's the way to do it, man. Godspeed to him.
Well, it's freaking Law and Order, man.
No, Law and Order. No. If we're talking about Dick Wolf, his stuff way better. Way better.
None of it is highbrow TV, right?
I have a friend who says Law and Order is just basically adult Scooby-Doo.
For sure.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Same.
No, he's not.
NCIS is the same, but I think the characters in NCIS are a little bit more endearing than other than Ice-T. Ice-T makes that show.
Yeah, but he's on that. He's on the
Trip to Rikers,
the sex crime one, which is so rough to watch.
God. Oh, and you got to listen to oh my God, who's the comedian does a whole bit on Ice-T.
Yeah, Rikers. You just keep saying Rikers. Yeah. I know. That's what I was talking about.
Every episode, he's still shocked at the things that he's seen and been doing it for like 10 seasons.
10. He's been on for, I'll bet 20 years. I'll guarantee he's been on for 20 years.
It's crazy.
For sure.
Guarantee. Yeah.
For sure. All right. So my second thing is I do want to talk a little bit about Willow. Not the show, not the movie, the Google quantum computer Willow. And
okay. Yeah.
This blew my mind today. It has seemingly proved the existence of parallel universes.
So Google is saying, well,
no, not Google, but the guy who essentially wrote the book on the theory of quantum computing like 25 years ago is essentially saying that's the only explanation. So, and it was only in this one particular calculation, a very targeted, because they're testing, in benchmarking quantum computers, right? And the Google quantum computer Willow completed this task in 5 minutes. That's supposed to take us like well over a septillion years, right? It's supposed to take well over it's something like crazy, like 1,000 septillion years. And they said the only possible explanation is that at the quantum level, it's reaching into multiple parallel universes to complete the task in a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
So it's reaching into other copies of Willow and pulling the results back. And that, like, freaking...
Totally. Like, I'm not ready for it. That's why I'm still on the fence on whether or not I'm buying into it as much as... Okay, so there's, like, two parts to this. One, let's say it's real. Holy shit, I'm freaking out. I am freaking out because they're going to rip a hole into the space-time. They're going to... It's just going to be a blip, and it's gone, and whatever. Or it's the most awesome thing that's ever happened in the universe, and, you know... Utopia, here we come. Highly unlikely with humans, but I think it's just like I said, it's too early for me. Like, this is like, well, maybe in 30, 40 years.
They haven't been able to recreate it with any of the other computations yet. That's probably like the one kind of like makes you, it's like tossing a coin right now whether or not it's real. But I mean, it's insane.
I don't know, man. But I mean, think about like the Higgs boson, you know, God particle, and then locking that down, and then finally, after all these theoretical things, and now they can repeat it, and they can get it, and they know it's there. You know, so being able to like figure these things out. I don't know. Like, my knowledge of quantum physics is so elementary. I have tried to read, you know, I'll read like Hawking's Brief History of Time, and I'm awesome. Like 3/4 into that book, I'm like, dude, I'm the smartest human alive. And then I hit a wall, and then it's just like, these are just words, man. These are just words. Or I tried Fred Allen Wolf's Taking the Quantum Leap, which I think is even a better book if you want to understand quantum physics, and just physics in general also. And again, 3/4 of the way into that, I hit a wall, and it just mush after that. My brain just is like, dude, just go listen to some punk music or something. Go listen to Pixies or whatever. You know, get out of here. This isn't for you. Go draw with crayons. I don't know. You know. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. It's just the whole concept of all this is so mind blowing. I can't wait to hear more, and hopefully this is the kind of thing that gets me through the next 4 years, you know, these kinds of hopeful things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, always looking for the next scientific breakthrough, or finding out about the drones that are going over New Jersey and what's up with that.
Yeah,
you know, like, okay. And then like a month and a half ago, we had those guys from the military that are like, we have absolute evidence of UFOs. I'm like, okay.
These drones kind of coincided with Willow ripping us a hole in the space.
They're coming through. This it's going to be like, you know, and that's the problem. It's just like, pick your you know, apocalypse. It's going to be like, if it's Half-Life, oh man. Which this is like, war. Like, that's terrible. That, like, do you want to live in the Half-Life universe? If we're going to talk about universes that we want to live in, it's like, obviously Star Trek is the good one. Everybody wants let's take Star Trek, okay? That's your ultimate. Everything else sucks. There's like a huge drop off after that. It's like, I don't even know what the next best one would be.
I would like the universe where the alternate timeline where Chicago is not -20 in the morning on a Thursday in December.
Okay, and we're gonna flip into the one that it's 40 degrees tomorrow. So yeah.
I want the one where Chicago is San Diego weather-wise.
Okay. All right. Hey, we're working our way with global warming on there. We'll get there. Yeah. See, another dystopia. Yeah, I don't know. Like, honestly, are there any other happy sci-fi futures?
Science fiction? Not really.
I can't really think of one.
Sci-fi futures.
Yeah, Star Trek is definitely happy sci-fi. That is 100% happy sci-fi.
How about the Bobiverse after he reestablishes humanity?
I think I only went like to the first 4 books of that.
Yeah. I mean, but so like, Like in
Okay,
books,
so he does it. Okay, yeah, okay, all right.
after
Bobiverse.
the Earth ends,
Not a bad
right?
pick. Not a bad pick. Bobiverse is not a bad
Robin
pick. Yeah,
will
thinking
come
about
back,
it.
they
Mm-hmm.
repopulate a bunch, with, they find like those 20, 30,000 survivors and they've
Yeah.
repopulated planets,
Yeah, Bobiverse is a
Um,
good pick.
Dude, the new book is out and I'm reading it. Fucking awesome.
I introduced my
Really, really
son
good.
to. I dropped him off at his guitar lessons. I was waiting in the car and just like going through work emails, and then I flipped on Spotify, and then it showed if you've got a Spotify premium account, all the books that you can get on there. And the
Oh,
first one that
yeah,
popped up was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
yeah.
And as he was walking out the door, I hit play, and it started doing the intro. And he sat down in the seat next to me. He's like, "How much did I miss?" And I'm like, "It's the first sentence." He's like, "Cool." So for 15 minutes, he got like the whole preface, and we're at the part where Arthur Dent is laying on his stomach in front of the bulldozer. If you've read
Mhm.
that book, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep,
And
yep.
he's like, "Yeah, this is." He's like, "I've been meaning to read this. This is awesome." I'm like, "Thank you, thank you. I like
If
my
he's
kid."
seen the Martin Freeman, Alan Rickman movie.
Yeah. No, no, no,
No. Oh,
no. And it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
I
you
I don't
can't.
dislike that last movie. Nor do I dislike the low budget BBC. A little too much like the book version.
but Alan Rickman as Marvin is fantastic,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. It's not terrible. I just want them to know the book first and just kind of get that, and then yeah, because it's like they never went on. They never did Restaurant at the End of the Universe. They never did Life, the Universe, and everything else for so long. If they did them all like in a series, that'd be wonderful. Like, come on, HBO, it's right there. Let's go. But anyway.
I don't know that there's an audience. I mean, I feel like that book is pretty hardcore for science nerds. I don't know
I
that
think
it would
so.
have the appeal. No, I don't think it has the
It's so
appeal
Monty
that
Python. It's Monty
it
Python.
is.
You
It
know,
is, but
I
it
mean,
does.
this in the same way. I mean, it's so much in that. It's like it's the science nerd version of like Life of Brian or Holy Grail. I mean, it's.
But
I
you think
think
of,
I think if it's done well, people will absolutely watch it. I mean, they did the Golden Compass on HBO, and they did Spawn. I mean, you could take things that aren't huge and make them into something on there.
yeah, that's true. I guess that's true. Yeah.
If do it well, people will watch it. I mean, Watchmen. Do you think
think you're
Watchmen
gonna
had that big of an audience? And that's like
you
one of the
want to
greatest shows ever.
Yeah, if you want to invest in like multiple films, like a Harry Potter type thing where you have multiple
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the IP to go with.
It's all about the showrunner and their vision and their ability to bring it to fruition and adapt it current generations, right?
Yeah. I mean, I read the book and I mean, I get it. It's a British comedy, but like, I just never, I was never enamored with it the way, like, for example, you are.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I need the scene where Arthur Dent has been on a planet all by himself for so long that he hasn't said a word in forever, and this spaceship lands next to him. A robot comes out, asks him if his name is Arthur Dent. He really can't answer because he hasn't spoken, his mouth's dry. But once the robot figures it out, he goes, "You're a knee biter," and flies away because that robot is on a mission to fly around the universe and insult every single living creature in alphabetical order. It is an amazing joke, and I want to see it on the screen.
I can't remember. Does Arthur have his towel when he's on the planet?
Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, and I was so sad the day he died. Oh man, Douglas Adams.
Man, anyway. All right. So we went off on a big tangent.
We did some tangenting.
Yeah. All right. Love it. Anything else? Are we wrapped for today?
Let's wrap.
Wrap it.
Let's wrap it like Ron's house. Whose house?
Weeks Christmas.
Ron's house.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
So yeah, let's do an episode next week, and then we're gonna have to take off. We're not gonna have an episode after that.
Yeah.
And then we will have to, unless we do like the Tuesday. Let's talk about it next week. For sure, we got one next week. We'll figure it out then. And then we'll figure out our holiday schedule. Sound good, guys?
Sounds awesome.
All right, let's roll.
All right, see y'all later.
Bye.
Peace.